guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm not out in the field. I've had a couple of requests from a couple of you to do a what's in my camera bag video, and I've never done one of these camera bag videos before, so I thought it'd be a good idea to show you what I carry around, the gear I use, and how I go about doing my like vlogging, and what sort of equipment I take along with me when I'm doing shoots for people, for bloggers, or if I'm just out doing landscape photography. So let's start off with the camera bag. I use the Vanguard Altasky 45D, I think it's called. Really nice bag. I bought this one at the photography show up in Birmingham. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it just here. Really nice bag. The guys at Vanguard were really good. They managed to get me exactly what I was after. I wanted something that I could carry my cameras, carry my vlogging gear, and I didn't have a drone then, but possibly a drone, a tripod, a MacBook, pretty much everything, if I needed to carry everything. And this does everything, it can be a bit of a squeeze sometimes now that I've got another camera, but it's very unlikely that I'm gonna be carrying around two cameras all the time, because I just won't need it. So yeah, Vanguard Altasky 45D, really cool bag. It does pretty much everything I need it to do at the moment anyway, until I buy some more gear. So let's get inside and see what goodies we have in here today. I like this bag because it opens up from the back. Obviously it's a bit safer on your back, which is a bonus. Let's put that over there, out of frame. So as you guys know, I shoot Sony. And I've recently, the other day, as in like 3 days ago, bought a Sony, another one. So I have a Sony A7 II and a Sony A7R II, and a selection of lenses. And I'll talk you through why I have both cameras. I bought the A7 II back in January, and if you haven't seen that video, I did a first impressions video of what I thought of it. I'll link that one just here. It's a really, really good camera. It's great for landscape photography, and being full frame, it's got that detail that that we all need and we all really want. Yeah, the only downside to it is if you wanted to blow up pictures really big or print massive, it would still cope, but you just won't have as much detail as say like a Sony A7R II. So I still use this one all the time. I actually took it out yesterday, but I also now have the Sony A7R II, and this one also shoots 4K. They're both stabilized, but this one has a 42.4 megapixel sensor, correct me if I'm wrong, and this one has a 24.3 megapixel sensor. But awesome camera. A bit more expensive, but it's definitely worth it. And yeah, I like having the two camera setup at the moment. I don't think I'm going to be carrying around both of them at the same time, but I haven't quite figured that one out yet, because I definitely don't need two camera bodies all the time. But it's nice to have that if you were shooting. I wanted to get into shooting weddings, so I wanted that extra camera body just in case, to save having to swap lenses on camera bodies. Mainly for that element really. And it's nice to have a backup. I don't have a backup camera, so at least now I have my A7 II as a backup camera. If I didn't want to shoot with it that day. And it all depends really on what you're shooting. I mean, if I'm going out doing landscape photography, I would definitely take the A7R II, because it's got so much more detail. But for Instagram and stuff like that, you wouldn't even really notice the difference, not even on Facebook. So mainly if it was like going to be printed, or going to be blown up for a customer, or shooting for a customer. With the A7 II, I'll probably take this one out for more blog shoots. So like with Prim and other bloggers that I shoot for, because they're posting them on Instagram, and you really won't see the difference. And it's a pain for me because the file sizes that come out of the A7R II are massive compared to the A7 II. So I kind of haven't worked out what's the best way or best like system for me yet, but it's still nice to have both of those camera bodies. And yeah, being able to shoot with two is really nice. So lenses, let's go on to lenses. I've only got 3 lenses at the moment. So first lens, my main lens, is the Zeiss 24-70 f4 Sony. And this thing is awesome. A lot of people say it's not that great, but I've not actually noticed anything wrong with it. It's a bit pricey. I think now it's around about 800 quid. It's not too bad for a lens. And shooting with native lenses, like native glass, on a Sony body is always better. I have shot with a couple of Sigmas and Tamrons and like with adapters and stuff like that, and it's never been quite as good. especially when it comes to autofocus and like continuous focus if you're tracking a subject. So I tried to stay with Sony, saying that I do have a Samyang lens, but I'll talk you through that one in a minute. But yeah, this lens is really nice, 24 to 70 zoom. It's more of a everyday lens, and it's great for landscape because 24mm is wide enough to get that Grand Vista sort of shot in. Sometimes I wish I did have 16mm or 16 to 35. I was shooting down at Lulworth Cove a few months back, and the 24 wasn't quite wide enough to get it all in. But that's probably the only time I've ever wanted a wider lens than this. So I had to do a panorama instead and shoot 3 or 4 images and stitch them together in Lightroom. So it wasn't a problem. It's just more of a hassle or more of a faff, and you get bigger file sizes, then you have to, etc, etc. So yeah, super good lens. I like it how it goes in 70mm. 70mm is kind of nearly telephoto, so it's nice to be able to get in. I do want to get a 70 to 200mm lens, and there has been, because that would do the lineup then from 24 to 70, then 70 to 200mm. And I think I don't think I'd want any more than 200mm. And there has been a few occasions where I have wanted a 70 to 200mm lens. So that is next on my list. Well, actually it was on my list, but then I bought the A7R II. So start saving again for the 70 to 200mm lens. So yeah, really good lens, super sharp from corner to corner. I haven't actually noticed it be soft anywhere or at any aperture. I find it sharp at f4, and I find it sharp all the way through to about f16. I don't go any higher than about f13, f16 really. I don't go any higher than that. Yeah, no issues whatsoever. So if you are looking for a good 24 to 70 for your Sony, I don't really see the benefit in getting the 2.8. It probably is a better piece of glass, but I personally, even for me, I don't see the benefit. I'm not going to be shooting portraits with it. It is just an everyday sort of lens, and it's perfect for landscape photography. And it's perfect, like I was walking around Barcelona with it all the time, and it is just a perfect lens for that sort of stuff. So yeah, 24 to 70 Zeiss f4, awesome lens. So yeah, moving on my A7R II at the moment, I have a 55mm 1.8. Diddy little lens, it's nice and light compared to this one, but awesome portrait lens. This came with the A7R II. I bought it as a package deal. I do have a 50mm 1.4 Samyang lens, but this came with the 55mm 1.8. So one of them is really redundant at the moment, but well, it's definitely that one, because this is absolutely phenomenal. It is super, super, super sharp, and it's about £700. So if you are shooting bloggers and, you know, portrait style shots, it is good to invest in a prime like a 55mm 1.8, 1.4, that sort of aperture. Yeah, super, super sharp, nice and small, nice and light. And I love that about Sony. It's nice and small, nice and light. And yeah, fixed at 55mm, and it is perfect for those portrait sort of shots. I'll pop some up on screen for you now so you can see, but it is super sharp, and you get that blurry bokeh. And yeah, awesome, awesome lens. So yeah, moving on, I also have the Samyang 50mm 1.4. So this is a bit of a beast, and it's nice having that 1.4 aperture. I tend to use it mainly now for filming. Although the Samyang lens is not a quiet lens, it does make noise when the focus is searching, so you can hear the focus rings inside. But I tend to put it on manual focus, stop it all the way down to f1.4, and then manually focus on what I want to focus, and like breathe in and out with the camera, and you manage to get some super, super blurry backgrounds, and it's really nice for that cinematic look. But yeah, we did buy this one for bloggers and portraits, mainly because of that 1.4 aperture. And this was a new lens when I bought it. It literally just came out and I got it, I think the day after it came out. And yeah, super sharp, nice and sharp, even down to, well, I'd say 1.4 is not as sharp as it is at f2. F2 is super sharp. So yeah, now it's kind of made redundant because of the 55 1.8. I definitely will be shooting more with a 55 1.8 than I will with this. The only time I think I'll be shooting with this is if I'm doing video. So that's cameras and lenses out the way. As I said, I do want to get a 70 to 200mm lens soon. So that is the next one on the list. So moving on, I have my drone. So let's talk about my drone. I have a DJI Mavic Air. Super, super cool, super small, diddy little package. Pops into your camera bag, nice and easy. And you can literally get this thing out and you can be flying within 30 seconds. As you can see how quickly it is to put together. Lens cap comes off, boom, turn the thing on, controller comes down, boom, you're ready to fly. Pop your phone in and off you go. And you can be flying in 30 seconds. So it is really, really nice to be able to just fold everything out and it's ready to go. Especially for me when I'm vlogging, it's so nice to be able to just think, right, I can pop the Mavic Air up in the air, boom, track myself so I can walk for a little bit, not worry about it. It's got sensors all over it, so it's not gonna crash. And yeah, it lands by itself, flies by itself, it does everything by itself. It's so easy to fly, but yeah, really, really handy piece of kit, and I'm glad I invested and got one of these. It is something that I have been putting off for like a few years. I wanted to get the Mavic Pro, but I thought the Mavic Pro was a bit big, and then this come out and I thought, yes, this is definitely the one. The Spark didn't shoot in 4K, so it's not really as good, and you could only control the Spark with your phone unless you bought a controller, so it's nice that this one comes with a controller. But I just love the fact that it can be folded down into something like this, the size of my hand. And it just takes up the space of a lens in my bag, so it really doesn't take up much space at all. So moving on, I've recently started to use Peak Design, which is really cool. I wish I did it a long time ago because this stuff is awesome. If you haven't invested in Peak Design yet, go and invest in Peak Design. If you use it for like shooting bloggers, or if it's around your neck, they've got wrist straps, they've got these cool clips and everything. I'm a bit late to jump on the Peak Design trend, but I'm glad I have done now. Awesome, awesome gear, and yeah, very protective, very secure. Lee filters, I use Lee filters. I have a little stopper and I have a big stopper. I have the holder. What else do I have in here? In the top, I have my little Lee filters pouchy thing for grads, although I've only got a couple of grads in here now. These are hard grads, so it's nice to be able to pop them on. They're looking a bit dirty actually. It's nice to be able to pop them on the sky and just retain some detail in the clouds. Yeah, really nice. Expensive though. If you have any alternatives, let me know, because those grads are about £90 each. So there are lots of money, and like the big stopper and the little stopper, although they're awesome, £100 each, there's so much money. So this is a handy little piece of kit. It's a piece of plastic, goes on the front of the lens. It's like a lens cap. Lee filters come with these step-up rings, so you just pop them onto the front of your lens. He says, there we go. And instead of having to take them off all the time, pop the lens cap on, boom, you're ready to go. And then they store in your bag and stay nice and protected. So it's nice, and it's a genius idea actually. So well done, Lee Filters, for that. Moving on, I have a shutter release cable in here, spare batteries for the Mavic. Awesome. They only last about 20 minutes with the Mavic Air, whereas the Mavic Pro lasts I think about 26, 27. But I have never flown any more than like 15 minutes. I never find that I need to fly anymore. So you've got like an hour. I've got 3 batteries. You've got an hour of flying when you go out on a trip. And like I say, I've never really flown more than about 15, 20 minutes. Well, 15 minutes in one go. And then very rarely have I used all 3 batteries. So yeah, no issues there. Waterproof card holder case thing. Keep all my cards in here, nice and secure. Dustproof, waterproof, shockproof. All that malarkey, nice, small. Filters for the Mavic Air, spare lens caps. Don't know why my hard drive is in there. I use LaCie hard drives. These are awesome. They're like shockproof, so they won't break. I think they're water resistant up to a certain depth or something, but they're not going to be in the water anyway, but it's nice to have. Yeah, LaCie, they write nice and fast, protective, and they look cool too. Everyone tends to have these things. I've got a couple of these, they're really, really cool. Moving on, what else? Oh, we're running out. What else do I have in here? New addition to my camera bag. Power bank. I bought this thing the other day. This has got like 24,000 milliamp. I don't know what it is. 24,000 milliamp hours, I think it's called. It can charge your phone like 10 times or 8 times or something like that. So I figured it was nice to have in your bag just in case your phone runs out of battery, you want to charge more camera batteries. You can get an adapter for the Mavic Air, which I don't have yet, so that would be quite handy to have. So I can charge Mavic Air batteries on the go. It's got a light on it, so I guess that's really nice. There we go. To have just in case you get stuck in the dark, and that is super bright actually. I turned it on in the dark the other night, and yeah, that is super bright. So handy to have in your bag just in case you run out of battery charge, and always make sure it's charged. Obviously, business cards, I tend to keep a few business cards in here just in case you see people out and about. A million batteries. Sony batteries aren't great, but they're not bad. I haven't actually, a lot of people say they are really, really bad and they don't last very long. But I've had some of them are Sony, some of them are like knockoffs off Amazon because they're super expensive and you can get everything off Amazon. So we've got a couple of fakey Chinesey ones here, a couple of Sony ones. I've got a couple in the cameras, and I've also got a couple on charge. I think I've got about 10 in total. I always tend to carry around about 8 or 10. Well, actually they're always in my bag, so unless they're charging. I've never really, even if I've been out all day shooting, I've never really gone through more than like 3 or 4. So, and if I'm out doing a landscape photography trip, probably only 2. So they're not great, but then they're not bad. And they haven't really been affected in the cold. I've been out in the snow, and yeah, I don't really think they're that bad. I think they're quite good. What else do I have in here? Whistle. You're probably thinking, Ben, why you're not on a football pitch? Are you carrying a whistle? But sometimes I go out and about by myself and I'm trekking across Dartmoor, or I'm wherever I am, and I'm sometimes alone, and sometimes it's dark and cold, and it's handy to have, well, one, it's got a temperature gauge on one side, it's got a compass on the other, which is actually really good, and obviously it's a whistle as well, to attract people's attention just in case, you know, I was to get into trouble somewhere, I was to fall over, break my leg, anything. It's nice to be able to attract someone's attention, and these things are super loud, as you know. So for the space it takes up, it doesn't weigh anything. I just chuck that in my bag just in case, because you never know. You never know where you are or where you're going to end up, or where you're going to be. And that is actually it. The other little thing I have in here at the moment is this little thing from DJI. This is quite cool. You can clip these onto your Mavic Air batteries, he says, like that, and it's got a little USB port and it turns it into a battery charger. So if and when this thing runs out, you've still got 3 batteries charged that you can charge your phone to get people's attention, and just keep going. So that's a handy little gadgety gizmo from DJI, so well done DJI. Yeah, and that's, I reckon, pretty much it. I have a few other little bits and bobs like kicking around, like flashes and stuff like that. And tripods, I tend to use, well, I've always used Manfrotto tripods. I've had a few big ones, and now I'm using the 190 Go. And it's nice because it's aluminium, so it's, I would like a carbon one, but they're super expensive again. So the 190 Go is nice and light. I can put it on my bag and I don't even feel the thing. I use a ball head on it and it's super nice. It's nice to have that stability from the bigger ones and know that it's there, but I like the small little diddy ones because they don't sacrifice stability, and they don't weigh your bag down, which is the main point. And that's the whole reason for me shooting Sony, really, is that I can keep my weight down and carry things like water and sandwiches and food and everything, and be able to take all this stuff with me, as well as vlogging cameras. Oh, vlogging cameras, actually. Let's just switch the cameras around. Hang on, bear with me 2 seconds. So we are now filming on the A7R2 with the 55mm 1.8, so it's probably a lot better. But this thing is the vlogging camera I use. Primrose bought this. It's the Canon M50. She bought this when it first came out, so she got put on the waiting list. Much to her annoyance, the waiting list took like 4 or 5 months. But when Canon finally released it, we got one the day it came out in the post, and this thing is awesome. It shoots 4K, and Canon obviously have dual pixel autofocus. Sorry, it's a bit of a mouthful to say if you say it fast, which is awesome. And I think the autofocus is better than the A7 II, but I don't think it's as good as the camera we're on now, the A7R2. But this thing is awesome for vlogging. So I tend to stick this on a little like GorillaPod sort of thing. And then it's got a little flip out screen, which does twist as well, which is really handy. And I can see myself while I'm vlogging and not worry about the autofocus trying to find me or anything. I think it was about £600. Awesome though, if you are a vlogger and you want to upgrade. I mean, I did use GoPros for a while, and that was really good because I used a mic like I'm using now, and then I have this little Zoom H1 recorder, and like I'm doing now, you have to press record and then press record on the camera, clap, then sync the audio. With this one, you don't have to worry about that. I do need to get a microphone to go on the top to stop like wind noise and stuff. So it's all on one file, nice and easy to edit, bish bash bosh, and you're done. But yeah, super, super, super cool camera. Nice and small, diddy, and fits into those little gaps in your bag, yeah, without a worry. So yeah, that's what I carry around pretty much with me all the time. So I hope you guys have liked this video. A bit different to my normal ones, and sorry for not uploading for the last couple of weeks. It's been super nice weather, and I've just been busy working and just enjoying like being out camping and just being out in the sun, because it's not going to hang around for long, let's be honest. It is England. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Give us a like, drop us a little comment, tell us what gear you're using, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.